values and respect for each other, then I think that you can
certainly survive
it.
Jon Bon Jovi's wife just dropped a bombshell, and no one saw it coming. In a moment that has left fans stunned, Jon Bon Jovi's wife has made a confession that's shaking up their seemingly rock-solid marriage. After decades together, she's now saying that the man she married isn't the man he is today. Is this just a reflection on how time and fame change people? Or is there something else at play? Maybe even linked to those long-standing rumors about infidelity that have followed the rock icon for years? There's a lot more to this story than meets the eye. Join us as we unpack what really might be going on behind the scenes of this high-profile relationship and why this revelation could change everything. Life before becoming Dorothea Bon Jovi. Before becoming the wife of rock legend Jon Bon Jovi, Dorothea Hurley had a story of her own. She was born on September 29, 1962, in New Jersey to Dorothy and Donald Hurley. Not much is known about her early life or if she has any brothers or sisters. She has always kept those details private. Dorothea went to Sayreville War Memorial High School, where she met Jon Bon Jovi. That's where their love story began. Even though there is no record of her going to college, Dorothea has worked hard and built a successful life for herself. Most people know her as Jon Bon Jovi's wife, but she is much more than that. She is a black belt in karate and was once a trainer at her own dojo. She even appeared on the cover of Black Belt magazine. Besides martial arts, Dorothea is also a businesswoman. She and Jon run the JBJ Soul Kitchen restaurants in New Jersey. These restaurants help the community by letting people either pay for their meals or volunteer in exchange for food. About 40% of the meals are earned through volunteering, while the rest are paid for with donations. Dorothea has her own six-figure net worth and is not just living off her husband's success. She works hard, gives back, and keeps a low profile. Dorothea Hurley may be married to a rock star, but she is a strong and independent woman with her own achievements. How did the two meet? Jon Bon Jovi and Dorothea Hurley's relationship has stood the test of time. They've been together for more than 40 years, with their love story beginning all the way back in 1980. They met as teenagers in high school and quickly became close. Bon Jovi once shared that Dorothea let him cheat off her in history class, and he was hooked from the moment he saw her. Even though their bond was strong early on, they didn't get married right away. In 1985, the couple briefly broke up, and Bon Jovi had a short relationship with actress Diane Lane. But fate brought him and Dorothea back together. In 1989, at the height of his fame, Bon Jovi and Dorothea secretly tied the knot in Las Vegas. They didn't tell anyone. Not family, not friends, not even the band. Bon Jovi said they were celebrating a #1 album and single, and in a spur-of-the-moment decision, he asked Dorothea to run off and get married. She said he was crazy, but she went anyway. Their family grew quickly. On May 31, 1993, they welcomed their first child, Stephanie Rose. Even though Bon Jovi is a global superstar, the couple has always tried to protect their children from the spotlight. Still, Stephanie made a few appearances with her dad, once at age 7, when she danced on stage to "I've Got the Girl," and again in 2017 during a Las Vegas performance. Their second child, Jesse James Lewis, was born on February 19, 1995. Jesse went on to play football at the University of Notre Dame and later launched a wine brand, Hampton Water, with his dad in 2018. The youngest in the family, Jacob "Jake" Hurley, was born on May 7, 2002. Bon Jovi nearly missed Jake's birth. He had played a show in New Orleans the night before, and fans kept calling his hotel room. He turned off his phone, not knowing Dorothea would go into labor. Thankfully, his tour manager woke him up in time, and Bon Jovi caught a private flight back to New Jersey just in time to welcome his son. They've built a family, weathered fame, and stayed strong through decades in the public eye. But recently, it seems something may have changed. What changed? Keep watching to find out. Jake Bon Jovi, Jon Bon Jovi, and Dorothea's third child, is now stepping into the spotlight himself. According to his Instagram, Jake is pursuing a career as an actor. He's also engaged to Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown, a match that's made plenty of headlines for all the wrong reasons. Meanwhile, the couple's youngest child, Romeo John, was born on March 29, 2004 in New Jersey. With 4 children and more than 4 decades together, Bon Jovi and Dorothea have built a big, loving family. And while Jon is known for his music, he's always been vocal about how much fatherhood changed him. "You think you're in love when you're a kid, and you meet your wife and get married," he told People, "but you know you're in love after you have a child." In 2006, the couple took their passion for helping others to the next level by launching the JBJ Soul Foundation. The nonprofit started by renovating 15 homes in Philadelphia, but it quickly grew. Now, the foundation has built over 500 affordable housing units across the country and opened 3 Soul Kitchen restaurants, pay-what-you-can spots that help feed those in need. Dorothea came up with the idea for the restaurants. "We've been so blessed and so lucky," she told People, "to see people not be able to feed their families. It's just not acceptable." While Jon's career meant he missed birthdays and school plays, he gives Dorothea full credit for keeping their family strong. "I'm not a saint, and I have not been a saint," he admitted to Men's Health. "But she's been there the whole time, she gets it." So what's the secret to their long-lasting love? In a 2016 interview, Dorothea said, "Somehow it works. I think it's because we grow at the same rate. We grew equally and not in opposite directions." Jon added, "She's the glue. I'm the crazy visionary with all kinds of things flying, and the seams are all splitting. She's the one following me with the glue and the thread and needle, keeping it all together." In 2018, when Bon Jovi was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, his entire family was there to celebrate. A full-circle moment for a man who never forgot where he came from. Just before their 30th wedding anniversary, Jon Bon Jovi revealed that his fans were crushed when he and Dorothea tied the knot. "It was like Harry Styles or Justin Timberlake getting married," he told the Mirror. "I was that to the young girls in my time, but not everyone was celebrating. When I came back from Vegas, my manager was furious," Bon Jovi shared. He said, "America's boy is now married. That's not a good career move." Even the record company was disappointed. Still, despite the backlash, Jon and Dorothea stood by their decision. Now, after more than 40 years together, the couple continues to be rock solid. Their secret? Mutual respect, Jon said. "We grew up together, we grew together, and we really like each other. We want to hang out." The couple appeared on The Howard Stern Show to mark their 34th wedding anniversary. Dorothea looked back on their early years and admitted that Jon was 100% the cutest guy in high school, but his band didn't impress her at first. "I knew he played in a band," she said, "but I wasn't impressed until I heard him sing. He was very good." Still, not everyone shared her belief in Jon's future. "That was the family's response," Jon joked, saying Dorothea's relatives didn't think much of his dreams. Dorothea added, "That was everybody's response. I remember telling someone, 'My boyfriend's going to be a rock star,' and they said, 'Good luck with that.'" Their decision to get married in Las Vegas was completely spontaneous. Their taxi driver even acted as the witness. "It shocked everyone," Bon Jovi told People. "The band, management, agents, lawyers, parents, you name it. It's a shame because it should have been a beautiful moment," he said. "But after we did it, people tried to take it away. And 35 years later, we're still married." But has their long love story hit a new bump in the road? Dorothea just made a surprising confession that no one saw coming. But before we get into Dorothea's shocking confession, let's talk about Jon Bovi, the making of Jon Bon Jovi, from Jersey kid to rock legend. John Francis Bon Jovi Jr., better known as Jon Bon Jovi, was born on March 2, 1962, in Perth Amboy, New Jersey. Today, he's known around the world as a rock star, songwriter, guitarist, and actor, but his journey to fame started long before the spotlight. He's best known as the founder and frontman of the legendary rock band Bon Jovi, which he started in 1983. With the band, he's released 16 studio albums packed with hit songs like Livin' on a Prayer, Wanted Dead or Alive, and It's My Life. He's also recorded 2 solo albums on his own. In the 1990s, Bon Jovi stepped into the acting world. He took on roles in several films, including Moonlight and Valentino, The Leading Man, Little City, Homegrown, Pay It Forward, U-571, and Cry Wolf. On TV, fans saw him in popular shows like in the City, 30 Rock, Ally McBeal, and The West Wing. His performances showed that he wasn't just a rock star. He had real talent on screen, too. In 2009, he was honored by being inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, a big moment for someone who had spent decades pouring his heart into lyrics. 3 years later, in 2012, Billboard named him one of the most powerful people in the music industry, ranking him at number 50 on its Power 100 list. But music and movies weren't his only passions. Jon also co-founded a team in the Arena Football League, the Philadelphia Soul, and was once its majority owner. His interests have always stretched far beyond the stage. Jon was born into a working-class family. His father, Jon Francis Bon Jovi Sr., was a barber and a Marine. His mother, Carol Sharkey, was also a Marine but later became a florist. In her younger years, she even worked as a Playboy bunny. Jon's family roots run deep. His father was of Italian and Slovak descent, and the Bon Jovi name comes from Sciacca, a town in Sicily. His mother was of German and Russian background. He was raised in the Catholic faith and spent his early school years at St. Joseph High School in Metuchen, New Jersey. Later, he transferred to Sayreville War Memorial High School in Parlin, New Jersey, the same school where he met his future wife, Dorothea Hurley. Jon's love for music started when he was just 12 years old. In 1974, he formed his very first band, Raise, and even entered a school talent show. By age 16, he had started another band called Atlantic City Motorway. One of the band members was David Bryan, who would later become Bon Jovi's longtime keyboardist. During his teenage years, Jon kept busy performing anywhere he could. He played with a group called Jon Bon Jovi and the Wild Ones, taking the stage at clubs like the Fast Lane, a popular New Jersey venue. They often opened for local rock acts and built a small but loyal following. In 1980, Jon formed another band called The Rest. This group opened for some big names in the Jersey rock scene, including Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes. Jon was clearly determined to make it in the music world. While he was hustling through gigs, Jon worked part-time at the Power Station recording studio in New York City. The studio was owned by his cousin, Tony Bon Jovi. Jon started by running errands and sweeping the floors, but his big break came unexpectedly. Disco producer Mecco was in the studio working on Christmas in the Stars, the Star Wars Christmas album. He asked Jon to sing a track called R2D2, We Wish You a Merry Christmas. That song became Jon's very first professional recording, and he was credited as Jon Bon Jovi. From sweeping floors to topping charts, that moment marked the beginning of a legendary career. The Rise of Bon Jovi, a band that changed rock forever. In March 1983, Jon Bon Jovi was ready to put a real band together. He called up bassist Alec John Such, who then reached out to a seasoned drummer, Tico Torres. Guitarist Richie Sambora joined soon after. With keyboardist David Bryan already on board, the group was complete. That lineup, Bon Jovi, Sambora, Such, Bryan, and Torres, became the founding members of the band, Bon Jovi. The band released its first two albums in 1984 and 1985. These records helped build their fan base, but it wasn't until their third album that they truly broke through. In 1986, Bon Jovi exploded into mainstream success with Slippery When Wet. The album took the world by storm and went on to sell 28 million copies globally by 2011. It featured 3 top 10 singles, including 2 #1 hits, You Give Love a Bad Name and Livin' on a Prayer. These songs would go on to define an era and become permanent fixtures of rock history. At the 1989 MTV Video Music Awards, Jon Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora stripped it all down. They performed acoustic versions of Livin' on a Prayer and Wanted Dead or Alive, using just guitars and vocals. The performance was raw and powerful. MTV had already been planning its Unplugged series, but that simple, emotional moment helped change the show's direction. It convinced producers that even big-name stadium rockers could shine in a stripped-down format, not just up-and-coming indie acts. Jon and Richie's songwriting legacy reached even further. One standout example is Next 100 Years from the 2000 album Crush. Originally written by Bon Jovi and Sambora, the song had actually been covered earlier, though few outside Japan knew it. In 1999, Japanese superstar Koshi Inaba of Bees wrote Japanese lyrics for the song, which was recorded by J Friends, a special music unit formed by Johnny and Associates. That version was part of the relief effort for victims of the 1995 Great Hanshin earthquake. A live version of the song was included in the 2003 DVD J Friends Never Ending Spirit, 1997-2003, which featured performances from various Johnny's groups and from the special unit itself. As of 2019, Bon Jovi had released 15 studio albums, 5 compilations, and 3 live albums. The band has sold over 130 million records worldwide, making it one of the best-selling American rock bands of all time. They've also taken their music across the globe, performing more than 2,700 concerts in over 50 countries, playing for more than 34 million fans. Bon Jovi's impact has been recognized by music institutions on both sides of the Atlantic. The band was inducted into the UK Music Hall of Fame in 2006 and later earned its spot in the US Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2018. Solo career. In 1990, Jon Bon Jovi stepped out on his own to record the soundtrack for the movie Young Guns 2. The soundtrack, commonly known as Blaze of Glory, became his first solo album. It all started when his friend Emilio Estevez asked if he could use Wanted Dead or Alive for the film's theme song. But instead of lending an existing hit, Bon Jovi wrote an entirely new track, Blaze of Glory, which set the tone for the entire project. The album included big-name guests like Elton John, Little Richard, and Jeff Beck. The title track, Blaze of Glory, became a major hit, reaching #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. In 1991, the song earned Jon Bon Jovi several major honors. It won Favorite Pop Rock Single at the American Music Awards and took home a Golden Globe. It also scored him nominations for both an Academy Award and a Grammy. That same year, Bon Jovi launched his own record label, Jamco Records. Through it, he produced Aldo Nova's album Blood on the Bricks and Billy Falcon's Pretty Blue World. In 2012, Bon Jovi contributed another solo track to a movie soundtrack, this time for the film Stand Up Guys. The song Not Running Anymore was released as part of the film's score. On December 13, 2012, it was announced that the song had been nominated for a Golden Globe Award. In 2020, he celebrated the holidays in his own style, releasing a seasonal single called A Jon Bon Jovi Christmas. It featured 3 original holiday songs. Bon Jovi has also built an impressive acting resume over the years. His film credits include Moonlight and Valentino, The Leading Man, Destination Anywhere, Homegrown, Little City, No Looking Back, Row Your Boat, Vampires, Los Muertos, U-571, Cry Wolf, National Lampoon's Pucked, and New Year's Eve. In the movie Pay It Forward, he played Helen Hunt's abusive ex-husband in a supporting role. He's made plenty of television appearances too, with roles on in the City, 30 Rock, Las Vegas, The West Wing, and Ally McBeal, where he played a plumber who briefly dated the show's title character. And though most fans may not have noticed, he had a brief, uncredited role in Young Guns 2, the very film that launched his first solo music project. On January 24, 2011, it was confirmed that Bon Jovi would be joining the cast of New Year's Eve, playing a successful rock star who shares a history with Katherine Heigl's character. But despite the glitz and glam, there's one question that lingers. Did Jon Bon Jovi get away with murder? Did Jon Bovi get away with murder? Jon Bon Jovi's comment about getting away with murder isn't about anything criminal. It's a raw admission about the temptations of his rock star lifestyle, especially during the early days of his band's success. Reflecting on that wild era, Bon Jovi admitted he leaned hard into the excesses that came with fame in the 1980s. In an interview with Michael Strahan for the ABC special Halfway There, the rocker opened up about his 35-year marriage to Dorothea Hurley and his not-so-perfect behavior along the way. "I got away with murder," the Livin' on a Prayer singer said. "I'm a rock and roll star. I'm not a saint. You know, I'm not saying that there weren't 100 girls in my life. I'm Jon Bon Jovi. It was pretty good, but he was quick to draw a line between fantasy and reality. If you think I was ever going to jeopardize my anything for believing the narcissist in me was real, what a stupid thing to do," he said. "What kind of excesses does a man need that's going to fuel that fire? It's just not worth it." The band released their debut album in 1984, the same time Bon Jovi was already in a relationship with Dorothea Hurley. By the time they married at the Graceland Chapel in Las Vegas in 1989, he was already a global symbol with his band's fame in full swing. Despite the chaos of his career, Bon Jovi credits Dorothea for keeping their family grounded. He added, "She's certainly not afraid to call me out on something, but she's also there when I fall, and I'm there for her when she falls. No matter where I went in my career, the ups or the downs, we went there together." The couple, who share 4 children, met in high school and built a life side by side from modest beginnings. "Growing together is integral," Bon Jovi said. "She came from nothing. Same hometown, same high school, same group of peripheral friends." Jon Bon spoke more candidly about their long relationship, admitting again that he hasn't always been a saint over the years. With their 35th wedding anniversary approaching, Bon Jovi didn't sugarcoat how they made it this far. The reason? His wife's patience and strength. "They wouldn't have reached the milestone," he said, "had it not been for her tolerance." Jon Bon's wife's shocking confession. Following Jon Bon Jovi's candid confession about his past infidelities, there was a lot of speculation about the absence of his wife, Dorothea Hurley, at the screening of his new documentary, Thank You Goodnight, The Bon Jovi Story. Some speculated that her absence was tied to his recent admissions, but it turns out that was not the case. According to sources from Page 6, Dorothea missed the event because she had contracted COVID-19 and was required to quarantine at home to avoid spreading the illness. A separate insider shared with Page 6 that Jon Bon Jovi, 62, was super sad that his wife couldn't attend the screening. Despite his disappointment, he was fully supportive of her decision, understanding how serious COVID-19 can be, given his own experience with the virus in 2021. In a previous interview, Jon had expressed how the pandemic made him realize just how fragile life is. He reflected on the global impact of COVID-19, acknowledging that it didn't discriminate based on age or nationality. He also shared that his family had been vigilant in following health guidelines, staying double vaccinated throughout the crisis. Yet, back in 2014, long before the world was shaken by a pandemic, Jon and his wife, Dorothea Hurley, faced another kind of scare: Dorothea's knife accident. In 2014, Jon Bon Jovi and his wife, Dorothea Hurley, marked a significant milestone, celebrating 25 years of marriage. However, their celebration was overshadowed by a frightening incident at their New York Soho home. Dorothea, while chopping vegetables, accidentally cut her left palm near her wrist, causing severe bleeding. The injury, which occurred around 11:30 in the morning, prompted Jon to call 911 for emergency help. Dorothea was transported to Beth Israel Medical Center, where doctors treated her wound with stitches. Thankfully, she was able to return home later the same day, although the scare left the couple shaken. In the midst of this, Jon Bon Jovi, who was also recovering from an apparent leg injury, was spotted in public on crutches. He had been wearing a cushioned ankle walker on his right leg as he hobbled into a restaurant with Dorothea. Despite the couple's personal challenges, their bond remained strong, as evidenced by their continued commitment to each other and their family. The year also saw the couple making moves in the real estate market. They attempted to sell their sprawling luxury penthouse on Mercer Street in New York City. Originally listed at $42 million in March of the previous year, the price was gradually reduced, first to $39 million and then to $37.5 million in April. However, by January, the property was delisted, suggesting that their plans for a quick sale might not have panned out as they had hoped. Despite the ups and downs, both in their personal lives and their business ventures, Jon and Dorothea continued to display a sense of unity and resilience, marking 25 years of marriage with a sense of gratitude for one another. While the couple survived this storm, there was one that shook the family to its core in 2012. Did you know that Jon Bon's daughter overdosed? In 2012, Jon Bon Jovi's daughter, Stephanie Rose Bon Jovi, faced a major crisis that shook the family. The 19-year-old Hamilton College student was arrested in upstate New York after an alleged heroin overdose in her college dorm room. Police were called to the scene just after 2 a.m. following reports of a female found unresponsive. When they arrived, they discovered heroin, marijuana, and drug paraphernalia in her dorm room, leading to her arrest on charges of criminal possession of a controlled substance, criminal possession of marijuana, and criminally using drug paraphernalia. She was also charged with unlawful possession of marijuana. The charges were classified as Class A misdemeanors. Another student, Ian S. Grant, was also arrested in connection to the drugs found in the room. Stephanie was released on appearance tickets and scheduled to appear in court later. In the aftermath, her father, Jon Bon Jovi, refrained from commenting publicly on the incident, but the situation was clearly distressing for the family. Bon Jovi later described the ordeal as his worst moment as a father. In an emotional recounting of the events, he shared how he received a late-night call from Stephanie, who was at the hospital. Although she assured him that she was fine, the gravity of the situation still hit him hard. Bon Jovi immediately rushed to be by her side. While Stephanie was recovering, Jon Bon Jovi opened up about the impact of the event. The charges against her and Grant were ultimately dropped due to a New York state law that protects those who overdose and those who help them seek medical assistance. Despite the terrifying experience, Bon Jovi expressed relief that his daughter was doing better, stating that she was doing great and that he was blessed to have her healthy. As a father who had never been involved with drugs himself, Bon Jovi reflected on the wider issues of substance abuse. He acknowledged the increasing pressures and temptations facing younger generations, something that had been more accessible than in his own time. He expressed gratitude that the situation didn't spiral further out of control, recognizing that things could have been much worse. The experience was a harsh reminder of the dangers that exist, even for the children of high-profile figures like himself. Additionally, during this period, Bon Jovi also dealt with another personal and professional issue. His band's guitarist, Richie Sambora, abruptly left the band's tour for personal reasons, which sparked rumors of a falling out. However, Jon clarified that there were no issues between them. No fight, no firing, and no money-related conflicts. He expressed his love for Sambora, though the two had only spoken once in the 6 weeks following his departure. Through both of these personal challenges, Bon Jovi showed resilience as a father and a rock star, navigating a difficult time with his family while maintaining his professional responsibilities. What do you think about Jon Bon Jovi and Dorothea Hurley's relationship? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.